Okay, guys, let's see if you can see. I guess I gotta put you in front of the screen. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can able to see, but we're gonna start from question 1. This is the official ASC practice test. ASC stands for Automotive Service Excellence. So we're gonna start with that. I buy that. I bought that vouch they call it, in order to practice the question practice test. But there is only 25. I thought that it's gonna be at least 100 or 200 questions randomly so I can practice, but nope. So it is what it is. And I gotta start practicing. So let's see. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a rough idle. The technician connects a vacuum gauge to the intake manifold and with the engine at idle observes that the needle fluctuates rapidly between 15-inch Hg and 20-inch Hg. Which of these could be the cause? A Barnett valve. A Barnett valve. Explanation. All of the answered options may cause a misfire, but a Barnett valve is the only answer option that will cause the vacuum gauge needle to fluctuate rapidly. The correct answer is C. An open fuel injector winding, an open spark plug wire, an intake gasket leak that can cause a misfire. But a Barnett valve is the correct answer. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a raw fire. The technician connects a vacuum gauge to the intake manifold and with the engine at idle observes that the needle fluctuates rapidly between 15 inches Hg and 50-inch Hg. Which of these could be the cause? A Barnett valve. I need to find something in here. What's the meaning of... We always learning something in 15-inch Hg meaning. Meaning on a car. Let's see what it says. In a car, 15-inch Hg, inches of mercury. Oh, wow. In a car, inches of mercury indicates a vacuum relay. This means the pressure is below standard atmospheric pressure, typically measured as a 29.92 inches of mercury at sea level, while a car typically has a idle vacuum between 18 and 22 inches of Okay, I need to write it down this because it's always good to take notes. I wanna be the best one day, and I need to pass that exam for the ASC. The ASC is the Automotive Service Excellence. They give you a certificate for that. So the 15 inches of mercury, 15 inches of mercury indicates a vacuum reading. This means the pressure is below. Oh, sorry, guys. pressure is below sea level, below standard atmospheric standard below standard atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. Damn, my car is so complicated. It's basically a human being body, believe me. It has so many issues, diagnostics that you can do in any kind of component. Typically measured as a 29.92 inches of mercury at sea level. Measured as typically measured as 29. If you can able to see really well, measure it as 29.92 inches of mercury. Wow. Okay. Typically measured as 29.92 inches at sea level, while the car typically has an idle vacuum between 18 and 22 inches of mercury. 15 inches can still be with the normal range for some engines, okay? So the question, going back to where we were before, let's see, it was right here. Okay, a vehicle is being diagnosed for a rough idle. The technician connects a vacuum gauge to the intake manifold, and with the engine at idle, observes that the needle fluctuates rapidly between 15 inches of mercury and 20 inches of mercury. Which of these could be the cause? A burned valve. All of the answer options may cause a misfire, but a burned valve is the only answer option that will cause the vacuum gauge needle to fluctuate rapidly. The correct answer is C. Alright, so I already marked it as a correct one. Let's see, let's go for the next one, guys. Alright, let's read the second question of the 25 that we have. A vehicle has failed an emission test. The technician observes the reading showed during an exhaust gas analysis test performed at idle. Which of these could be the cause? A leaking injector pintle. What the heck is a leaking injector pintle? I never hear about that. Let's go and find out. Leaking injector pintle. It says how it is. Pintle. Let's say pintle. L-E. A leaking fuel injector pintle can cause a fuel to leak into the combustion chamber, leading to a rich mixture and symptoms like a hard starting, rough idle, and increase of a fuel consumption. Let's see an image of a leaking injector pintle. Pintle cap. Let's see this one. Let's see. A fuel injector knowledge base. The fuel injector components. Okay, that's a better way to diagnose, to learn at least. The fuel injector components. The injector has a manufacturing tolerance of 1 micro, the finest tolerance of any mechanical component of the engine. Bosch. That's the brand of the Bosch. or whatever you pronounce. Buna fuel rail rubber seal, 10 to 20 microfilter basket that got inside, electric connector, okay, a solenoid electromagnetic coil, a solenoid on the sides, the pintle return spring, the pintle valve, two valves, a Beaton engine side rubber seal, a pintle cap, a fuel outlet hose. Okay, how does the fuel injector work? A fuel injector is an electrically controlled valve that that both meters flow of the fuel and optimizes fuel. The injector is located on the intake manifold on the engine and is sealed between the manifold and the fuel supply, railed by the Buna and the Beaton rubber seal. The fuel injector are normally fed power continually when the injector key is on. On the computer control the negative or ground side of the circuit, the ECM or ECU or PCM computer gathers information from various sensors, and using this information, the computer determines the injector opening duration required for that combustion stroke. When the computer provides the injector with the ground, flips the switch on, the circuit is completed and the current is allowed to the flow through the injector electromagnetic coil. That sounds good to read it, but to be in the real world is a different thing, especially to diagnose those two. Wow. Okay. Most injectors use 10 to 20 micro internal final filter screens. A small 25% restriction in the injector filter will cause the ECM to increase the injector on time by 25% to make up for the restriction filter and the loss of the fuel. The injector will remain open anywhere between 1 to 20 milliseconds depending on the engine need as determined by the ECM. The current stops when the computer removes the electrical ground to the injector. The electromagnetic coil becomes energized. As a small coil spring pushes a valve needle to the pintle seal and cuts off the fuel flow. Injector can malfunction for a number of reasons. Faulty electromagnetic coil, these are not repairable and will need to be replaced. Weak and broken pintle return spring, these are not repairable and will need to be replaced. External fuel leak on the body, o-ring deterioration and mild failure, dirty or clogged fuel injector microfilter, corrosion, dirt buildup in the pintle and valves, dirt or clogged fuel outlet holes. Why do injectors need cleaning? Okay, there is a lot of information about injectors. We can spend all night, so we gotta go back to the question. At least I know where is the pintle. A leaking injector pintle. We can say like a leaking injector nose or the fitting for the fuel to the engine. That can be more clearly. Let's see. The reading indicates the engine is running rich. A restricted fuel filter will not cause a rich condition. The EGR system is normally closed at idle and will not affect the air-fuel ratio. A stack closed connected purge valve will not cause a rich condition at idle. An injector that will not sit will provide additional unmetered fuel to the engine and reach it. The air-fuel ratio, the correct answer is D. Okay, I think I gotta repeat this part. An injector that will not sit will provide additional unmetered fuel to the engine and reach the air-fuel ratio. The correct answer is D. A leaking injector pintle. 254 ppm. Wow, I need to write down this and I need to find out some more information about this. So at least when I am in let's say an scan tool of any kind, Snap-on or hotel. Unless I can find out which one I'm looking at. 254 ppm and CO is 5.1%, CO2 and O2. I need to find more information about this because those abbreviations, they say a lot about it. And when you look into a scanner, you need to find out about those, guys. So let's go back over here. We're gonna delete this and we're gonna put H2 254 ppm, meaning okay. All right, there's a lot of information. Let's go over here. H2 254 ppm or 254 parts per million of hydrogen. Wow, it's another level of understanding right here. H2 254 ppm or 254 parts per million of hydrogen. H2 means that every 1 million part of a solution there is a 252 parts of hydrogen gas dissolved in it. ppm is a unit of measurement used to express the concentration of a substance within a large mixture. Wow. Believe me, in this profession as a mechanic you learn every day. Okay, I need to find out, you see? And sometimes it's not like, I have a scanner that cost me $10,000 or $4,000. Or I have the whole line of Snap-on tools on my toolbox. Sometimes it's a lot of information that you need to know about it. I wish I started when I was maybe 13, 14 years old in this field. Actually I did, but I gave up for a while. I came to this country and started working in a different field, so it's not too late anyway. I'm not gonna give up. H2 represents the hydrogen gas, a colored, odorless, and highly flammable gas. H2. Represents hydrogen gas, a colored, odorless, and highly inflammable gas. Flammable gas. Okay. ppm parts per million. Wow. Parts per million. Parts per million, not for per million. Per million. I'm sorry guys, my English is not good looking, but I do my best. A unit used to express the concentration of a substance in a solution, indicating the number of parts of the substance per 1 million parts of the total solution. I hope did you get it guys? ppm is a unit. ppm parts per million, a unit used to express the concentration of a substance in a solution, indicating the number of parts of the substance per 1 million parts in the total solution. 254 the concentration of hydrogen in the solution, meaning that there are 254 parts of hydrogen gas for every million parts of the solution. Oof. Okay, there is more information to gather. Now we have the CO. CO 5.1. 5.1 percentage. Where are you, baby? Okay. Oh. CO 1.5 likely refers to the 1.5 surround sound, a common surround sound format used in home theaters, and cars. That's on cars. The phrase CO 5.1 on cars likely refers to a 5.1 sales tax on a car's color. No, the fuck meaning? I'm missing something. Okay, now we got the information. CO 5.1% on a car typically refers to a vehicle emission standard, indicating the percentage of a carbon monoxide CO emitted for the vehicle exhaust. A 5.1 rating suggests that the car is emitting a certain percentage of CO, which is a pollutant. However, without more context, it's difficult to say definitely what specific standard the 5.1 figure is being compared to. So we don't have a comparison chart. So how I will say, oh, it's on a high CO2. Okay. However, however, without more context, it's difficult to say it definitely what specific standard the 5.1 figure is being compared to. Here is more detailed explanations. Okay. CO2 5.1 on a typical car refers to a vehicle emission standard indicating the percentage of a carbon monoxide, CO, carbon monoxide. CO is meaning, CO meaning carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, CO emitted from the vehicle exhaust. Carbon monoxide emitted from the vehicle exhaust. A 5.1 reading suggests that the car is emitting a certain percentage of CO, carbon monoxide, which is a pollutant. However, without more context, it's difficult to say definitely what specific standards the 5.1 figure is being compared to. Here's more detailed explanation. CO2 carbon monoxide, a colorless, odorless, and toxic gas produced by an incomplete combustion like in a car engines. Emission standards. Governments and regulation agencies set emission standards to limit the amount of harmful pollutant like CO released in the atmosphere. Percentage. The 5.1% represents the percentage of CO, carbon monoxide, and the exhaust gas, which is compared to the emission standard for the vehicle type. On cars, the context of a car refers to a vehicle engine or exhaust system where CO or carbon monoxide is measured. So what is Let's see something here. To understand the meaning of carbon monoxide 5.1 on cars more precisely, you will need to know the specific emission test or regulation, the type of vehicle, the intended comparison. Oh wow. Oof. Okay, let's get back to this. Carbon monoxide 2 on O2. CO2 and O2. Let's double check that, guys. You don't lose nothing. I don't lose nothing. CO2 11.1%, meaning on cars. Thank you, Google, for reading my mind. A CO2 rating of 11.1 on a car likely refers to the grams of CO2 emitted for kilometers. G grams kilometer. This figure indicates the amount of carbon dioxide emitted by the vehicle while driving, reflecting its fuel efficiency and environmental impact. Lower CO2 emissions generally mean better fuel economy and a smaller carbon footprint. What the heck is this? Oh my god. Guys, whoever's a professional technician who knows more about cars, we like to know how to be an easy technician, easy automotive service of excellence. Wow, we just get out to the second question and I already have some information that I didn't know and I have to keep finding. And I was expecting 800 or 1000 questions so I can practice for my test, which is gonna be this Saturday, the 19th. Okay, let's see, guys. A CO2 rating of 11.1 on a car likely refers to grams of CO2 emitted per kilometer. I don't know if you're able to see the screen very well. I try to do my best, guys. I don't know if you're lowering the light, it will help. But let's see. Excuse me, guys. Maybe next time I will do it in my TV, let's say. A CO2 rating of 11.1 on a car likely refers to grams of CO2 emitted per kilometer. G kilometer. This figure in this figure indicates the amount of carbon dioxide emitted by a vehicle while driving, reflecting its fuel efficiency and environmental impact. Lower CO2 emissions generally means better fuel economy and a smaller carbon footprint. Wow, we will have some information about the carbon print. CO2 carbon dioxide. More information. I need to take notes. CO2 equals to carbon dioxide. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the right way. CO2 is a major greenhouse gas. It's a major greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas and its emission from the vehicle contribute to the climate change. And its emissions from vehicles contribute to a climate change. Thank you guys for watching me. GKM, this unit grams per kilometer. Grams per kilometer. I know you guys, you may know all of it, but I didn't know. Grams per kilometer. This unit represents grams per kilometer. Kilometer. Grams of kilometer measure of the amount of CO2 released for every kilometer the vehicle travels. Wow. They study all of that in an engine. I can't believe it. Wow. I thought I was just gonna put some oil and fuel and enjoy the ride, but I have so many restrictions. Relationship to the fuel economy. Lower CO2 emissions typically correlate with higher fuel efficiency, meaning the car uses less fuel per mile. Lower CO2 emissions typically correlate with a higher fuel efficiency, meaning the car uses less fuel per mile. Environmental impact. Reducing the CO2 emission is crucial for mitigating climate change and improving air quality. Example, a car with a CO2 rating of 11.1 grams per kilometer is slightly a more fuel efficiency and environmentally friendly vehicle compared to one with a higher rating, such as 150 grams per kilometer or higher. Wow, so that means good. If I know all of this information, if I take a look in the graph or the diagram on the scan tool, I can diagnose a car with just knowing those graphs. Wow. H2 represents hydrogen gas. ppm, parts per million. CO meaning carbon monoxide. CO2 carbon dioxide. Wow, it's a major greenhouse gas and its emission from the vehicle. Wow, can't believe it. And we have one more, guys. We have one more in one question, which is O2 1.1%. In that question, we have the answer. A vehicle has failed an emission test. The technician observes the reading shown during exhaust gas. Analysis. Test performed at idle. Which of these could be the cause? Those are practice questions for the official ASC practice test. Okay, guys? That's the second question, and we have so much information there. I don't even know about this information. Just look into the graph. We have those four questions: a restricted fuel filter, a stack closer EGR, a stack closer canister purge valve, a leaking injector pintle. I didn't even know what the heck is a pintle. And I just figured out that the pintle is the nose of the injector, let's say. It's more complicated than that, but just to make it easy, guys, the pintle is the point of the injector, let's say. And my understanding. I know I'm wrong with what I'm saying, but if you go with a technical and with the correct way, I know, guys, I know you master technicians. The reading indicates the engine is running rich. A restricted fuel filter will not cause a rich condition. The EGR system is normally closed at idle and will not affect the air-fuel ratio. A stack closed canister purge valve will not cause a rich condition at idle. An injector that will not sit with will an injector An injector that will not seat will provide additional unmetered fuel to the engine. Wow! An injector that will not seat will provide additional unmetered fuel to the engine. Enriching the air-fuel ratio, the correct answer is D, a leaking injector pintle. When I go to the test, I go prepare, I study, I spend my time, and when I go there, I fail. So I don't want to fail in this 8A auto engine performance test. Okay, let's find out some information. O2 meaning. Okay, let's do O2 meaning. O2 1.1% meaning on cars. Let's go Google, read my mind. In car engine terminology, listen to this. In car engine terminology, O2 1.1 typically refers to a second O2 oxygen sensor on the first bank. Wow, O2 typically refers to O2 oxygen sensor in the first bank. O2 oxygen sensor in the first bank. Yes, Mike. How can I help you? I will talk to you later, Mike. In the car engine terminology, O2 sensor 1.1 typically refers to the second O2 oxygen sensor on the first bank of the engine. Oxygen sensor, also known as O2 sensor, monitor the oxygen content of the exhaust and help the engine control unit ECU adjust the air-fuel mixture for optimal performance. An emission bank 1 refers to the cylinder bank, where cylinder number 1 is located, which is usually on the driver's side of the engine. And of course, here's a more detailed breakdown. O2, this indicates the second oxygen sensor. Second O2. O2 meaning second oxygen sensor. Oxygen sensor. More cars have two oxygen sensors, one upstream before the catalytic converter and one downstream after the catalytic converter. 1.1 This refers to the first bank of the engine, where cylinder number 1 is located. In a B-type engine, the cylinder bank opposite bank 1 will be 2. Therefore, O2 1.1 specifically identifies the second oxygen sensor on the bank of the engine where cylinder number 1 is located. Wow, what a beautiful breakdown. Wow. Let's go back to the, I think, second or third question, and we have 25 goals to break down, guys. I hope you don't fall asleep. Those are the official ones. The result shows were observed during a cranking compression test on a cylinder on a 4-cylinder engine. Which of these could be the cause? The results show were observed during a cranking compression test on a cylinder engine. Sorry, sometimes my English is not looking good. The results show were observed during a cranking compression test on a 4-cylinder engine. On a 4-cylinder engine, which of these could be the cause? A blowhead gasket, We're gonna speed up a little bit so I can listen to this tomorrow morning. A blowhead gasket, sorry, excusing my guys. A blowhead gasket between adjacent cylinders may cause slow compression needing on both cylinders. A warm cam blow will affect only one cylinder. A restricted exhaust will affect all cylinders. An intake leak will have no effect on the compression. The correct answer is A blowhead gasket. And we have in cylinder 1 we have 135 psi, 2 140 psi, 3 140 psi, 4 45 psi. We're gonna speed up a little bit so I can have something to listen tomorrow, because while I working I listen to my voice all day. Basically, the technician is measuring starter amperage drop. The reading observed on the mirror is above. Specification: Technician A says that low engine compression could be the cause. Technician B says that the low resistance between the positive battery post and the cable clamp could be the cause. Who's right? None of them, neither A or B. Low engine compression causes less mechanical resistance for the starter during amperage drop. Technician A's statement is false. The low resistance is a desired characteristic of all good electrical connection. Technician B's statement is false. The correct answer is D, none of them. Number 4. We're gonna break down each question later on, guys, okay? I need to speed up. A vehicle with a V6 engine exhibits blue smoke from the exhaust and has excessive oil consumption. Wet compression test results for 3 of the cylinders are noticeable higher than dry readings. This could be caused by a worn piston rings. C. Let's go on explanation. Adding oil into the cylinder for a wet compression test will temporarily seal worn rings and increase compression. Reading worn valve guides or seal will not affect compression test results. Wet and dry compression test result will not affect by a carbon buildup. The answer is C. Worn piston rings. Excessive leakage is found while performing a cylinder leak down test. Air can be heard escaping through the oil fill opening, the oil cap. Which of these could be the cause? A worn piston rings. Correct answer is B. Worn valve guides, no. Cracked intake manifold, no. A cracked intake valve, no. A worn piston rings. Air entering the crankcase past worn rings may be heard escaping through the oil fill opening. Worn valve guides will not show up on a leak down test. A cracked intake manifold will not affect cylinder leak down. In an intake valve is cracked, the air will be escaping onto the intake manifold. The correct answer is B. That was the explanation, guys. I'm sorry I didn't say it. Now we have I think a big one. Let's see. Let's read the question. A vehicle lack power runs rough and has an illuminated MIL. MIL stands for malfunctioning inductor lamp. Malfunctioning indicator lamp. What do you mean I say inductor? Malfunctioning indicator lamp, which means a check engine light. A vehicle lack of power runs rough and has a check engine light. During tests with the engine running, the technician measures 0 volts and terminal E. The ignition coil pack connector in the illustration shows which of these could be the cause. And we have the diagram here, of course. So this the terminal E, 0 volts. We have the coil drive, the coil pack. So the answer is an open Quota coil drive 1 to 4, cylinder 1 and 4 open. No, it's not the correct answer. The correct answer is A. So that's marked wrong. Let's see. The correct answer is an open coil primary winding. Let's read the explanation. There will be the battery voltage at the pin A, even if there is a high resistance at point B, or at 1 to 4 coil drive is open at shorted coil. Secondary coil will not cause the loss of voltage at pin E, because pin E is the control circuit for the coil primary. If the 1 to 4 coil primary winding is open, cylinder 1 and 4, coil primary winding is open, no voltage will be present at pin E, and the engine will be running on just 2 cylinders. The correct answer is A, which is an open coil primary winding. Let's see if I have the correct answer in this one. X, and the correct answer is B, which is X. Yes. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a cylinder 4 misfire detector storing a DTC. Diagnostic Travel Code. Okay. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a cylinder 4 misfire storing a DTC. During diagnostic, the technician observes no spark at cylinder 4 ignition coil. Using the schematic, show and open at which of these could be the cause. At X. Let's see, if we have a shorten here, none of them will have it. So that means just here for the cylinder 4, for the coil pack. An open at W, Y, or Z will affect. Explanation. An open at W, Y, or Z will affect all of the cylinders. An open at X will result in a lack of a PCM control for the cylinder 4. Ignition coil transistor. The correct answer is B. So the coil pack is bad on cylinder number 4. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a crank no start complaint. The technician observes the RPM signal on a scan tool during cranking, but there is no spark at the ignition coil. A DMM at point X reads battery voltage during cranking. Which of these could be the cause? Answer is gonna be B. An open PCM coil drive. Explanation. If the fuse or the PCM relay is open, the PCM will not power up. An open ignition coil will not be there. If a fuse or radio noise capacitor ignition coil, nothing will be functioning here. I don't know why we have a radio noise capacitor. Anyway, if the fuse or the PCM relay is open, the PCM will not power up. An open ignition coil will not be the problem because voltage is present at X control side of the coil primary, indicating that the coil primary circuit is not open. Battery voltage on the DMM indicates that the PCM is not controlling the ground side of the coil primary circuit. The correct answer is B. An open PCM coil drive. DMM, digital multimeter. PCM, power control module. Computer, basically. Okay. I have question 10. We have 15 more to go. This question is not like the other question on the test. It uses the word except. Read the question carefully before choosing your answer. An engine cranks okay but fails to start. Any of these could be the cause except. This question is not like the other question on the test. It uses the word except. Read the question carefully before choosing your answer. An engine cranks okay but fails to start. Any of these questions could be the cause except. except a cracked spark plug insulator, except a cracked spark plug insulator. Explanation: an open fuel pump relay, a shorted ignition module, or a shorted reference voltage signal will not cause a crank, but a no start condition, a cracked spark plug insulator will result in an engine misfire, but the engine will start and, and, and run. The answer is question number C, a cracked spark plug insulator. The answer to the question is C. An engine cranks but fails to start. Any of these could be the cause except a cracked spark plug. The engine can still run. It will misfire, yeah, but it will still run. A open fuel pump, a short ignition coil, a short reference voltage signal. The car will never run, not even start. Makes sense. The technician says that the fuel pressure on this vehicle may be able to view with the scan tool. I wish I know how to do that. But some of the cars they don't give you that option. Or maybe it's my scanner, I don't know. But I have tried and I never find that option. In every car that I'm looking at, I don't find that option. Technician B says that the open inertia switch on the vehicle will cause a fuel pressure. The answer is A. We have a diagram here: fuel pump, pump motor, pump control, verification reference voltage, signal, ground. Let's read the explanation. The pressure sensor reports the pressure to the PCM and may be viewed on a scan tool. Viewable on a scan tool. The initial A statement is true. If the fuel pump driver module senses an open inertia switch, it will not energize the fuel pump, and there will be no fuel pressure. The initial B statement is false. The correct answer is A. Wow. RPMs, short fuel trim, long fuel trim, master flow sensor, electronic, watt, TPMS, and gear parking. Wow. Engine coolant temperature, master flow sensor, TPMS, throttle position sensor. Wow. A lot of information in that diagram. A vehicle equipped with a 4-cylinder engine has an illuminated malfunction indicator lamp and a storage system to link bank 1 DTC. The technician connects his canton and observes the data show which of these could be the cause. A vacuum leak. How do I know? A fuel trim correction at idle is very positive, indicating a lean condition. Okay, it's very positive, 20 to 13%. A fuel trim correction at idle is very positive, indicating a lean condition. At higher RPM, there is little fuel trim correction. At higher RPMs, 2,581 RPMs. At higher RPM, there is a little fuel correction. The effect of fuel trim caused by unmetered air, commonly referred as a vacuum leak, entering the intake system, is most noticeable at low engine RPM. Low fuel pressure will result in positive fuel trims at all times. A restricted exhaust will not set the DTC. The TPS data shows the throttle position sensor shows reflects normal operation. The correct answer is B, a vacuum leak. Wow. A vehicle is being diagnosed for an illuminated check engine light. A scan tool is connected to the is connected, and the technician observes that the upstream oxygen sensor remains below 350 millivolts at idle and 2000 RPMs. This could be caused by an open fuel injector coil. 350 explanation. 350 millivolts indicates A lean exhaust condition, a stuck open purge solenoid, a leaking fuel injector, or a leaking fuel injector or restricted fuel return line will cause a rich mixture resulting on a high oxygen sensor. Voltage reading of fuel will be delivered to a cylinder. If its fuel injector coil is open resulting on a lean condition, the correct answer is B. During diagnosing a higher than normal engine RPM condition is found at idle. Technician A says that the misadjusted throttle position sensor could be the cause. Technician B says that excessive crankcase position sensor air gap could be the cause. Who's right? A. A TPMS that is out of adjustment may provide a false input to the PCM if the signal was reporting a voltage that indicates an off-idle condition. The PCM may not control the idle speed properly. The initial A statement is true. Excessive crankshaft position sensor air gap will not cause a higher RPM and idle condition. Technician B statement is false. The correct answer is A. 15. The technician observes a oil leaking from the gasket area of the valve cover and the oil pan. Technician A says the clogged PCB system could be the cause. Technician B says the excessive oil pressure could be the cause. The correct answer, A. A clogged positive crankcase ventilation PCB system may cause excessive vapor pressure to build up in the crankcase that may result in a leakage from the engine gasket and seal. The initial statement is true. Oil pressure will not affect the valve cover and oil pan seal surface as the oil in these areas is not pressurized. The initial B statement is false. The correct answer is A. Correct answer in this one, D. The initial A says that the stack closed EGR valve may cause a rough. Technician B says that a stack closed EGR valve may cause a hesitation on a wide open throttle acceleration. Who is right? None of them. Neither A or B. Explanation. An engine and an EGR valve should never be open at idle or during wide open throttle acceleration. Both technicians are B and A are making false statements. The correct answer is none of them. Another graph. A vehicle with a V6 engine is being diagnosed for a stored secondary air injection incorrect flow. Bank 1. Check engine line. The technician uses a scan tool to activate the air control solenoid and observe the scan data. Graph show which of these could be the cause. A. I stack closed bank 1 solenoid. You can tell just by looking this graph. Wow, amazing. The O2 sensor 2 bank 1. Sensor 2 bank 1 graph is bank 2 oxygen sensor pattern that will be seen during normal operation of the air system. Based upon the O2 sensor 1, sensor 1, sensor 1 bank 1 oxygen sensor pattern, no air is being introduced into the exhaust stream. On that bank, if the air pump is faulty, the graph for both banks will be similar on O2 sensor bank 1 pattern. The correct answer is A. One day I will be professional. One day. I don't know when though. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a VAP system small leak detected stored DTC. These guys are the ASC practice tests for a mechanic. Okay. Question 18. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a VAP system small leak detecting storing on a check engine light. Technician says that the smoke machine may be connected to the VAP system to test for leaks. Technician said that the air should be connected. No way. A is the only one. A smoke machine will induce smoke into the VAP system and any smoke that is visible outside of the system will indicate the airing of a leak. That's it. That's A only. The malfunction indicator lamp is flashing on and off. Which of these could be the cause? An open ignition coil. A malfunction indicator lamp flashes when the misfire is detected. A stack closed canister vent valve out of range TPS sensor or an upper knock sensor may cause a malfunction to turn on, but will not flash. An open ignition coil will cause a misfire. The engine will flash. The correct answer is C. An open ignition coil. The engine will flash. The engine light will flash. Okay, guys. 20. 5 more to go. Technician says that I didn't mark this one, I think. Technician says that it is important to maintain proper battery voltage when performing a PCM. Technician B says when replacing the PCM, relay procedures may need to be performed. Yes, both of them. Proper battery voltage is always needed when you're diagnosing a PCM issue and you have to program, no matter what. 21. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a complaint of pimping under load. That's another word for tomorrow. I will find out the pimping meaning. The initial says that the stack open exhaust gas recirculator EGR valve could be the cause. The initial B restricted exhaust gas recirculation EGR system passage could be the cause. Who's right? B only. Explanation. When the EGR valve is open, exhaust gases are restricted into the combustion chamber to reduce cylinder temperature and engine pimping. The initial A statement is false. A restriction EGR flow will not have the same effect as EGR valve that was not opening completely or not opening at all. This may cause engine pimping. The initial B statement is true. Tomorrow we'll find out more about the pimping. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a stored throttle position sensor circuit range performance DTC. A DMM is connected between point X and ground, and the technician observes a reading of 0.75 volts. Which of these could be the cause? A high resistance at Y, at the ground side. You cannot have a high resistance. The voltage reading at X indicates excessive resistance on the TPS ground, while an electrical open throttle position sensor, high resistance at Y or open at C, will not cause the reading on the DMM. The correct answer is C. A high resistance at Y. This question is not like the other question on the test. It uses the word except. Read the question carefully before choosing your answer. A master flow sensor is equipped with its settings. A system to link bank 1 DTC. Any of these could be the cause except a stack closed purge valve, a stack closed fuel injector, the intake vacuum leak, or stack open fuel pressure regulator can all cause a leak fuel measure. A stack closed port valve will not cause this code. The answer to this question is A. A stack closed purge valve. A vehicle has repeated PCM failures. The technician A says that an open evap vent control solenoid winding could be the cause. Technician B says that a shorted EGR control solenoid winding could be the cause. Who's right? B. No amperage will flow through an open solenoid winding, so it is unlikely that the PCM damage will occur when a solenoid winding is open. Technician A's statement is false. A short A short solenoid winder will increase the amperage that the PCM carries when the energizes the solenoid. If the amperage gets too high, the PCM solenoid drive may fail. The ignition B statement is true. The correct answer is B. 25, I guess. A vehicle is being diagnosed for a crank no start complaint. The technician connects the DMM to the circuit show and observes the reading on the meter during cranking. Which of these could be the cause? A failed sensor. B. Normal Hall effect signal output is 0 to 5 volts. Okay, toggle. 0 to 5 volts toggle. 12.6 volt is measured on the 5 volt signal line. So the reluctor is not the problem. An open B plus feed will result in no voltage on the signal circuit. An open signal wire will not read system voltage on the meter. The correct answer is B. A failed sensor. A failed ignition coil, a failed sensor, a failed Hall effect sensor. A damaged reluctor, an open B fleet, an open signal wire, no, a failed sensor. Okay guys, that's all for today. We're gonna practice, submit, and let's see. You have not answered. Still score it for me, please. I know it's just a practice question, but I need to practice tomorrow more. Wow, there's a lot of information. Okay guys, we continue tomorrow. I hope you like it. And we're gonna practice more about this test tomorrow.